The West Asian conflict has now reached the Indian Ocean. An Iranian warship has sunk off the coast of Sri Lanka, triggering a major search and rescue operation in the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka's Foreign Minister Vijita Herath has confirmed in the parliament that the vessel, identified as IRIS Dena, went down near the country's southern coast. Authorities say 32 people who were on board have been rescued and are currently receiving treatment at a state-run hospital in the port city of Galle. Several bodies have also been recovered from the sea. Early reports from sources within Sri Lanka's Navy and Defense Ministries suggest that the ship may have been attacked by a submarine and that more than 100 people were missing. However, Sri Lankan Navy spokesperson rejected the claim about the 101 missing persons and said the cause of the sinking has not yet been confirmed. The Navy said it received a distress call from the Iranian vessel and immediately launched a joint search and rescue operation with the Sri Lankan Air Force. Officials say their immediate focus is on saving lives and an investigation into what caused the incident will follow. Search efforts are still ongoing for those missing. An Iranian warship has sunk off the coast of Sri Lanka. Search and rescue operations are continuing with a joint operation by the Sri Lankan Air Force and the Sri Lankan Navy. Sri Lanka's foreign minister confirming these developments in the Sri Lankan parliament. 32 people have been rescued. That's what we understand. Although there are some reports that indicate that more than 100 people are missing and that the Iranian warship may have been hit by a submarine. These are unconfirmed reports. The Sri Lankan Navy has not confirmed the reports. It has confirmed that the Navy did receive a distressed call from this Iranian vessel and immediately launched that joint search and rescue operation with the Sri Lankan Air Force. The focus, officials say for now, is on saving lives and an investigation into what caused the incident. We have my colleague Kabir Naqvi joining us. Kabir, the growing regional war has reached the shores of the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka confirming that an Iranian warship has gone down off its coast.
Absolutely, Krishna. The warship is called IRIS Dena. Earlier in the day, we had learned that Qatar was the fourth nation that was embroiled in this expansive West Asian war, and now it has spread to the Indian Ocean waters officially. Sri Lanka says it has recovered several bodies. It's rescued about 32 people, like you rightly pointed out. These are wounded sailors after the Iranian military ship. This is a warship, sank just outside the island's territorial waters. Authorities, they're suggesting that this is a frigate, IRIS Dena, located about 40 nautical miles. That's about 75 kilometers off the southern Sri Lankan coast that had sent out a distress call between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. And the cause of the distress is not known yet. There are several people that are still missing. The Sri Lankan authorities are mum at this point in time. They're not coming through with the actual figures. But the ship had about, according to preliminary understanding, about 180 crew members on board, and a search and rescue operation is still underway. The Iranian frigate, it was returning from having taken part in the 2026 International Fleet Review just last month in the eastern India's coastal city, Visakhapatnam, and Sri Lankan Foreign Minister, like you pointed out in your introduction, Vijita Herath, she's told the parliament as well that the Navy received the information that the ship was in distress, and this is the actual reason why the Sri Lankan Navy acted upon that distress call, and the government then sent ships and the Air Force planes on a rescue mission. But needless to say that the entire West Asian war theater, it has expanded to beyond the Strait of Hormuz, to beyond the waters in West Asia, to beyond, it's now reached right up to, our peninsular doorstep. A Sri Lankan Navy spokesperson said that no other ship or aircraft was observed in the area where the Iranian warship essentially sank. So there is a distress call, which is why the Sri Lankan government acted upon it, but we still don't know why the distress call. Reporting from right outside the hospital in Galle, where the wounded crew members were taken quickly. They said Sri Lankan officials were still trying to figure out exactly what happened to the nearly 150 crew members. The government has not said anything about potential causes of this accident. That's what the Sri Lankan Navy is calling it. It's calling it an accident. But the Iranian embassy officials in Colombo, they said that 2 officers have been sent to this hospital to talk to the survivors over there and get a better sense of what might have happened to the ship. So it was participating in a fleet exercise. This was also taking place in Visakhapatnam here in our own country. But with the war shadow looming large on areas beyond just the Strait of Hormuz and the Gulf nations surrounding Iran and Israel, it clearly saying that our peninsular waters, the war has reached right up till here. Krishna.
As you're talking, I was just thinking, those reports, early reports, which suggest that this Iranian warship may have been attacked by a submarine. My thoughts are, what are the possible submarines, that could have possibly intercepted this Iranian warship? Because at this stage of the conflict, which is escalating by the minute, an entire warship sinking is going to be a defining moment.
That's absolutely right, Krishna. Another exclusive information that we'd like to tell all our viewers right now is that the U.S. military, these are again preliminary reports that we're picking up. The U.S. military carried out strike against the Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. 3 U.S. officials have told the same to Reuters. So even as the Iranian, embassy officials are making their way to the hospital where the crew members are currently stationed, the rescue operation continues to go on in the water. About 75 kilometers. It's about 40 nautical miles south of, Sri Lanka's coast. U.S. military officials are now telling Reuters that U.S. military carried out strike against Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. And if we are to go by that particular statement, well, needless to say, the war has essentially and officially reached our doorstep.